Mugenkyo! And now, roll titles! Thank you very much indeed. Welcome to the programme, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome. Thank you to Mugenkyo, our Japanese drummers. Ha! And we'll see more of you a little later. And a lot more noise. Good, that. Anytime you fall asleep, we're going to... oh, the gong's gone. I was going to turn around and do a karate kick in the gong, which I thought would have been quite funny, but it's not there. What a programme we have for you tonight. We have got a beauty contest featuring Asian babes, and we'll be having a look at some of the finalists, and we are also going to be talking to one of rock superstars, a man who had a lot of success back in the 80s, a man who was considered the really wild man of pop. In fact, in my mind, I think he's one of the nearest people to playing the guitar to Jimi Hendrix there has ever been. Take a look at Captain Sensible right here. Why Captain Sensible was playing nude, apart from his beret and sunglasses, in a bubble, we'll ask him a little later. He's here to tell us what he's up to at the moment. We have Apes, Pigs and Spacemen providing some more music for you as well. I almost don't think this programme should be allowed out on the air. And before we go any further, seeing that we've been suffering this heat wave, you just have to look at the audience in here to see how hot they are. I mean, just get a look at some of these people over here. He's absolutely perspiring over here. See, this very wet audience, a very wet audience tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hayley's back again, yes. And, I don't... Have you got your piano with you this week or not? No. Not mine. Oh, right, OK, fine. Anyway, a very, very hot thing. I was wondering why... Here we live in Britain, don't we? We live in a country that is renowned for its rainfall. I mean, we're not Spain. We're not down there in the Mediterranean. And as soon as we get a hot spell, we don't have any water. Yeah, all these guys in the water company seem to be on enormous salaries. I just want to know why. Right, got that out of the way. My first guest, I'll read a little bit to you here. At 10:10 p.m. on the 26th of February, Barings, Britain's oldest merchant bank, collapsed, with losses totalling £827 million. The collapse was blamed on a rogue trader in the bank's Singapore office, and a hunt for the absent trader ensued. On the 2nd of March, 28-year-old Nick Leeson and his wife Lisa were arrested in a blaze of publicity at Frankfurt Airport as they tried to fly from Brunei to London. Barings was sold to a Dutch banking and insurance group for £1, and Mr. Leeson detained in a Frankfurt jail, awaiting extradition to Singapore to face charges. The Chancellor of the Bank of England, the Chancellor and the Bank of England, I should say, and former Barings managers would have us believe that their recent report is the end of it, but is it? Nick Leeson being made a scapegoat by a banking establishment that seems to be closing ranks, less interested in the truth than the reputation of the City of London. Now, I'm pleased to welcome Lisa and her husband's lawyer, Stephen Pollard. Please give them a nice round of applause. Now, first of all, Lisa, I know you've been... I'll give this to you afterwards. You can give it to Nick, and it might cheer him up, mightn't it? And so you can have that. And I've been wanting rid of it for a long time, so you can have that. First of all, I know you've been on as many programmes as you can. I know that you want to keep this in the public's mind. But let's start off with the worst-case scenario. Supposing he does get sent to Singapore, supposing he is put in prison, and he could be put in prison for a long time, couldn't he? People have said ridiculous amounts of time, 20 years or 30 years. I'm sure it's not going to be anything like that.
Well, we hope not.
How will you cope? Have you thought about this? You must have had some thoughts.
I don't like to think that Nick will go back to Singapore, so I've not really sort of put my mind to what I'll do if he did. I just hope that Nick will come back here.
As a wife, how much do you think he is to blame?
Well, Nick's willing to face up to his responsibilities. Or he's already, I mean, he's told the nation that. So he's willing to face up to his responsibilities, that's what I can say.
When we had a look, they sent camera crews into your flat in Singapore. They were going on about this. I mean, I'm not being rude, but it didn't look the flashiest place that I have ever seen. I mean, and I'm a big fan of Through the Keyhole, but it didn't seem the most exciting apartment. It didn't seem a huge apartment that people would lavish money on.
It wasn't the most expensive apartment on the street. There are apartments on the street that were double the price of ours. It didn't have the marble bathrooms and all that come with the lavish flats, but it was a nice place and it was our home.
How long had you lived there?
About 7 months.
When you went on the holiday, you say, everybody else says you decided to, and obviously Stephen will keep me right if I overstep the mark here. When you disappeared off your holiday, did you know that you were running away at the time or not?
No, not at all. I mean, Nick's shirts were still out on the line. I think everybody could see that from the photos.
But some people have said, well, that was because you were sort of trying to skip off without packing anything.
I don't think so, because I wouldn't want to leave my possessions in Singapore. My possessions are still in Singapore at the moment. They're holding them from me, so...
The reports in a lot of the papers, I was even reading, I hate to mention it, Private Eye as well, say that, you know, he was in line for bonuses of £450,000 a year. Enormous amounts of money for somebody of 28. I mean, is this true?
Oh, yeah, well, we were led to believe that was true. It was like our lottery win. Who wouldn't want a bonus that much?
Listen, I would have shared it with you if you'd been, yes, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that would set us up for the rest of our life.
Do you think, looking back, you were a bit naive or not?
No, because things seemed to be going well, and that was what we, you know, we were looking forward to that.
One of the latest reports says, oh, well, look, we're getting fed up with seeing Lisa on television and in the press and, you know, these demure pictures of her serving in a tea shop because she hasn't got any money. Who's she trying to kid? She's got money stashed away. Nick was as guilty as they come. Why are we worrying about him? What would you say to people who still think that?
We certainly haven't got money stashed away. I've said all along, Nick didn't do this for personal gain. I'm not working in the tea shop to get sympathy. I didn't ask the press to come down and photograph me in the tea shop. They found out and came down and made the big issue. I do the tea shop. I'm lucky to have the job in the tea shop because it gives me some more money. And the people that own the shop, they let me have the time off. As I mean, I could ring up on a Tuesday night and say I'm not coming in tomorrow, and I wouldn't be able to do that if I worked in an office. I
mean, a lot of people are going to ask the question. I mean, how are you managing? You can't, presumably, you can't get legal aid.
No, we don't get legal aid.
And I mean, I imagine Stephen's quite an expensive lawyer, looking at his suit. Are you worried about the things that, I mean, obviously, are your assets frozen, or have you got them stashed away in a Swiss bank somewhere? Or?
Our assets aren't frozen. We don't have many. We don't have assets. We've used all of our savings to pay for the legal fees, and we've borrowed money from friends.
You worked in the trading industry, in the few, whatever, over there when you met him. Is this quite a normal sort of occurrence? But the problem is that quite often it's stopped before it gets too far. I mean, are people taking these great risks?
I didn't actually work in the front office or on the trading floor, like they say, so I don't really know a lot about trading. But, I mean, you do listen to traders who brag about what they do.
Stephen, it's a very different... I mean, you're in the wonderful position of actually being able to talk about something that would normally be sub judice at this time, and nobody would be talking about it. I'll just tell you what my feeling is, because it's my show. I mean, my feeling is that the poor old Nick, I mean, he probably was doing what he was supposed to. They all got to make as much money out of money. That's what they do, isn't it? But there must have been people above him that are supposed to pull in the reins. How is it they all seem to be washing their hands and disappearing?
Well, this is one of the questions I think that the Board of Banking Supervision report doesn't even start to address. It was all very well to say, well, there weren't any controls and all the managers were just really hoping that this golden goose in Singapore would carry on laying the golden eggs, and, you know, didn't give it another thought beyond that. I mean...
What about this secret account, 88888, I think, that Nick had for... I mean, was this only Nick's doing?
Nick opened the account, yes.
So he was actually guilty of trying to pull a fast one?
As he's already said, there was some trading for which he didn't have specific authority from his bosses.
Was that trading that he didn't have specific authority from his bosses the trading that actually tipped the bank over the edge?
It was part of the way in which the circumstance arose. But he said all along, and again, you say I'm in the unusual position, he's in an even more unusual position. He's someone against whom there may be criminal charges who's saying, I will tell you the whole story. He's not saying I'll hide and I'll duck and dive and I'll try and avoid the truth. He's saying, SFO, come over and see me, bring your tape recorders, I'll tell you everything.
Oh, unfortunately, the SFO are held in about as much esteem as the UN at the moment, so they're really unlikely to be able to do much, aren't they?
Well, I think the SFO's problems in the past have been that they've tried these big trials and they've failed to get the convictions. That's not the situation here. What Nick's saying is, come and have an interview with me. I will give you the evidence you need, and the case moves on from there.
He must have told you the full story, which obviously you are not going to tell me. Were you surprised by some of the details that he's told you?
I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised when I met him, having read the tabloid coverage, particularly before he was arrested in Frankfurt. And I was delighted to meet, I always say, a very honest man, and he is a very honest man. He's always been entirely straight with me. He's got a nice sense of humour.
But he wasn't that honest as far as the people whose money he lost was concerned. A lot of people whose lives have been wrecked, and a lot of people who will never manage to get that money back.
There are certainly people who've made losses, and there are private people who've made losses. There are a lot of big institutions who've also lost money. And I expect that those representing the bondholders who've lost will recover that money either from an action against the Barings management or the auditors. And Nick feels very badly that there are people who have lost. Let me make that quite clear.
I mean, the cynic would say, well, he would now in this situation, wouldn't he? What? I mean, because it's going to be a great strain on Lisa, and she goes back and forth to Germany every week. So what is the next step? Just to conclude, because we've been going on a lot longer than we should have done on this now, I think. What will you be trying to do? If he's sent back to Singapore, which a lot of people... I mean, obviously the government and the Bank of England and a lot of people in banking over here would love it to go back to Singapore, because then there wouldn't be this tarnish on the City of London.
Well, if they are thinking that, I think they're thinking wrongly, because the one thing that can tarnish the City of London is the feeling that somehow the truth has been suppressed and the full story's never come out. The way to clear it up and to identify who shared in the responsibility is for him to be tried here.
If he has to go back to Singapore, will you break the story in this country?
It's something we'd have to consider at the time.
So there are some people who are pretty worried?
Oh, they should be worried either way.
Thank you very much indeed, both. Give this to Nick when you see him.
Thank you.
OK, because for whatever you've done, it's not nice being in a prison, I imagine, in a foreign country. Lisa and Stephen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. To camera 3. OK, you're going to love this. We're going to have the competition, give away that week's holiday. You go on this, you know, if you win it, Lisa, you could ring up and, you know, you could get away over there. A week's holiday in some war... What's wrong with you in the audience? Please, I know this is entertaining, but honestly, control yourselves. Right, winner from a week or so ago, Maxine Bonner, or might be Boner. What an unfortunate surname. Anyway, well done, Maxine, and you enjoy your holiday. Covered in confusion. Right, now, your chance to win this week in a hotter climb. The number to ring, 0891 48 49 50. The competition question is coming up on your screen now. Who is the governor of the Bank of England? Is it Eddie George, Eddie Murphy, or Eddie the Eagle Edwards? I think they could all probably do just as good a job. And the phone number 0891 48 49 50, and the lines are open till midnight on Sunday. What is the name of the song that the band are playing? OK, right now, music from Apes, Pigs and Spacemen. And a nice little number entitled... What was the title of this number they're playing for us, first of all? Grey Bass. I can't hear that at all upstairs. Oh, Great Place, like the fish. Right, OK. Apes, Pigs and Spaceman, and Great Place. Yeah!
Gonna do it this time. We followed every golden rule. People need someone to lead them, and we can show that we're not fools. surveys and relentless batterings. Let those concluding that they'll swallow anything. We kissed our babies and we shook so many hands and said, it's great to see ya, it's great to see ya, yeah, it's great to see ya, and it's great to know you're on our side. This is a great place to be. This is a great place to be for everybody. It's a great place to be. Yeah, it's a great place to be. Don't you forget it! Let me know! Stop! We only tell them what they need to know. Give away too much and they take over the show. Wear clothes and pictures, boys, and please don't take no drugs. When you're called for evidence, just everybody shrug. While circulating on the market and raising tax, make sure you always got a smile for their friends. You know it's great to see ya. It's great to see ya. Yeah, it's great to see ya. And it's great to know you're on our side. This is a great place to be. This is a great place to be for everybody. It's a great place to be. Yeah, it's a great place to be. And don't you forget it. Rewind me. Take me back. We only tell them what they need to know. Taking their liberties, yeah, that might prove a drag. Maybe a little war will pull them round the flag. You know it's great to see ya. It's great to see ya. It's great to see ya. And it's great to know you're on our side. This is a great place to be. This is a great place to be. Yeah, it's a great place to be. This is a great place to be. Yeah, it's a great place to be. Well, it's a great place to be. But don't you forget it. I bet you right now.
Thank you very much. We're back later. Apes, Pigs and Spacemen. Great place to be, and this is it. Don't forget before the break, who is the governor of the Bank... Oh, that one. I like that one better. I'll go on this one. Who is the governor of the Bank of England? Is it Eddie George, Eddie Murphy, or Eddie the Eagle Edwards? Call us on 0891 48 49 50. Until midnight on Sunday, this holiday could be yours. Yes! I hope you at home are having a nice time as well. Now, a little voiceover with some music, see if this works. OK, right. Mugenkyo are appearing at the 11th Anglo-Japanese Summer Festival, held tomorrow, the 29th of July in Battersea Park here in London. The festival is the largest of its kind outside Japan and features 10 top Japanese and English acts, drum groups, instrumentalists, folk dancing, 50-odd stalls and craft activities including origami and calligraphy, displays of traditional and modern weapon skills and stalls serving Japanese food and drinks. Please welcome back to the James Whale Show, Mugenkyo! Huzzah! Mugenkyo, ladies and gentlemen. And I've always liked dominant women. Wasn't that terrific? Just shout at them again. Just shout, go on, do it for me. Ah! Huzzah! Huzzah! Give a nice round of applause, thank you! I tell you, we have got to have them back. We have really got to have you back. You must come back, that was good. That number was called, by the way... I was going to say that. I just was going to say that. You beat me to it. Thank you very much indeed. Right. Oh, it's warm, isn't it? Now, before we talk to my next guest, I'd just like to have another look at that little bit of VT we showed just before. Can we run it again? Just have a little look, and to make sure while we're doing that, let me tell you about him as well. Here we go. Bar the odd reunion gig, you officially left. Oh, that's not what I'm going to do, is it? This bit here, right? OK. Thank you very much indeed. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest was guitarist with punk pioneers, The Damned. I wonder whether we're in there. Or there was a naughty bit of him showing there. There was definitely a naughty bit on that. He was with The Damned for 8 years, before topping the charts with his own right, or in his own right, with a little ditty called Happy Talk, and you can all hum that at home now, from the musical South Pacific, really. Currently touring with the Space Toad Experience, and with a new album of his own soon to come out. Please clear your throats and give up a real bucket of your best spit for the Crown Prince of Punk abandoned ship. It is Captain Sensible! Please, Captain, give us a bit, please. More, please, Captain. Please, here you go. Go, Captain, go. Where is it? I told you, tonight's show, I told you, listen, they may all try to copy this show, but tonight's... Thank God you didn't pick this up. Thank God you didn't pick this up. Sent in to us by a viewer who said, could you pass it on to Esther? By a black man. Baz, be quiet. Anyway, fine. Captain, it is an honour. You have no idea it's an honour. Do you regret Happy Talk or not?
Yeah, I do. It's an absolute... well, the amazing thing about Happy Talk was I'd finished the album for A&M and I was completely conned by them in so much as I'd produced a record that they'd sign me, they'd given me the dosh and everything, and I'd gone back home with, you know, the money and the pictures were in the papers and everything, all this stuff. And I did one cover version at the end of it, which was Happy Talk, to make up the numbers and make up the time on the record. And when they heard it, they thought, oh, you know, bung this out, sort of, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I said, no, absolutely, you know, it's not one of my tunes and all this. And they said, oh, somebody from EMI has done a version of this, so, you know, so they said, well, unless you release it now, they'll sort of beat us, sort of thing.
So you went with it because it was lots of dosh?
Yeah, and it was an absolute con because nobody from EMI had any...
What did you think when you went right to the top of the charts, on top of the pops with Happy Talk, and then when you were playing with The Damned, they booed when you played it?
Well, yeah, it was kind of... but the funny thing about The Damned was, I mean, I always wanted to be a kind of a pop star type person because not being the most handsome person in the world, I was a...
Oh, no,
it was like, you know, it is like sort of, you know, a good way of like sort of chatting up sort of stuff like that. And,
was the groupie situation good at that time?
Tragic.
Oh, right.
Tragic. Yeah. Well, the thing was, with the Damned, I mean, all you got were these sort of ugly blokes with Mohicans and clanking chains and stuff. And you come out of the backstage door, and it wouldn't be kind of, Captain, you're gorgeous. Can I come back to your hotel room or anything? It was like, you're rubbish tonight, Sense. We're absolute rubbish. You know, and gobbing in your face and stuff.
Now, I mentioned the gobbing as you came on. I mean, you feel quite strongly that this spitting is a sociable sort of a comment, isn't it, on musicians and music of the time?
Well, it was kind of the great leveller in a way, I suppose. In so much, I mean, before then it seemed as though you had to have a degree in music or something to be in a band. And it was why I started in showbiz anyway. I mean, horrible expression, but. I mean, most of the bands before then were sort of, you know, like sort of Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Yes and Genesis and all this garbage that was going up his own bum, doing absolutely nothing. And you could go on stage in a band, or anyone could go on a stage, and you know, you get a bit of gob and everything, but, you know, it's one of those things. You were the same as the audience.
You used to play naked quite often.
Yeah.
Did you worry about that or not? I mean, next week I've got somebody playing naked.
We're all the same underneath, you know, our uniforms. The problem with the world is everyone wears uniforms. You know, the police. If the policemen went around naked, you know,
you wouldn't know
nobody
what rank they were.
Nobody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's
Hello.
this?
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you very much. Right, fine. Anyway, listen, just fine. I didn't know you had so many fans all over the place. Did you actually enjoy smashing? There was a lot of stories about you smashing up hotels. In fact, your fans used to ask you to go and do it as a mark of respect.
Yeah, that's, funny enough, that's true. I was in a hotel somewhere or other in America, and this bunch of people sort of knocked on my door and said, "Here's the keys to our room. Go and wreck it." And they absolutely trashed this place. A sink out of the wall, and like the bed, torched the bed. Everything went. There's a TV out the window.
Do not do this, right? This is, you don't do it. And say I said you could, right?
And they said, well, "Don't worry, we're going to pay for it." They disappeared before. Before 10 o'clock.
Because I'd like to talk to you about the Damned all the time, and you want to talk about your new stuff, which we'll do in a couple of seconds. Last question about the Damned, though. Well, he's painting over there. Last question about the Damned is that I was reuniting myself with some of the music when I heard you were going to come on the show. And I don't think people realise how good, how exceptionally musical some of the Damned numbers were.
Well, we did used to experiment as much as we possibly could. I mean, after we did that first classic album, Damned, 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 I mean, to repeat it would have been stupid, I think. So
you won't ever bring them back?
The Damned?
Yeah, I know they're going right. You won't ever get back with them and...
Oh, I'd love to. I think they're out. I think there's 2 versions out on tour at the moment. You know, but there's 4 versions of the Suite out.
What are you? Listen, because I'm running out of time. You're playing with the Space Toad Experience, but you've also got your own album coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I make records, you know, that not a lot of people buy them, you know, blah blah blah. But you know, I eat lentils, and I'm sort of a peace and love merchant, and I brew my own beer, so I haven't got an expensive lifestyle, you know.
So, well, perhaps, will you come back and play something for us on another show?
Yeah,
You sure?
smashing.
Will you do that? Because I know you'd like to get in with the Apes, Pigs and Spacemen, and it's very, very difficult to remember all these names.
It's a good show, this, isn't it?
You enjoy this? Because we run out of time now. I wanted to know about you and Sid Vicious, but we don't have time at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, for the moment, Captain Sensible! OK, here they are! Apes, Pigs and Spacemen singing Antiseptic.
So you finally cause and got carried away. So you finally cause and got carried away. Just because we share the odd opinion doesn't mean I'm part of anything. We'll surrender to a set doctrine, no matter how valid at the time it seems. Utilities envied by the neighbors, emulate the cruelest of their failures, burying the corpses of a social storm, burning out, learning just to keep us warm. Although I'm not like you, it's not like me, so not like you. Though I may think like you, don't expect me to think for you. Diluted and electric. So the truth of blatant antiseptic. Maybe you know what's the use so scream through a marinade. What you want to bite is more corrosive than the clearest ulterior motive. Tolerance is more than opportune. Demands on other people to enjoy your view. Fertilize a mind that it might grow. With all of wisdom's virgins left to impregnate. Who knows, you might even learn to tolerate. Diluted and electric. So the truth of baked and antiseptic. Maybe you know what's the use so scream through a marinade. You can't let the cat go walk off with your tongue if it helps the underdog along. And if there's a way to impregnate, who's to say that you won't tolerate? Fertilize the mind that it might grow. Yeah, fertilize the mind that it might grow. Diluted and electric. So the truth of blinking antiseptic. Maybe you know what's the use so scream through a marinade. Through a marinade. It's alright. Through a marinade. Well, yeah. Through a marinade.
Apes, pigs, and... Guys, that was wonderful. Thank you very much. A little impromptu jamming, I'm afraid, from the captain over in the corner here, but excellent. Thank you very much. Give him a nice round of applause. Yeah! Apes, pigs, and spacemen. Now, before the break, who is the governor of the Bank of England? Is it Eddie George, Eddie Murphy, or Eddie the Eagle Edwards? You could win a holiday for two in a nice warm place. Not much warmer than here. 0891 48 49 50. That's the number. Lines are open till midnight Sunday. Don't go away. We have some very beautiful Asian young ladies next. Sorry, right. Don't forget, holiday for two. All you have to do is phone 0891 48 49 50. Tell me who is the governor of the Bank of England, Eddie George, Eddie Edwards, Eddie Murphy, or Eddie the Eagle Edwards. That's OK. And difficult, I know, but I'm sorry about that. Phone number 0891 48 49 50. Lines are open till midnight on Sunday. OK, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Can you move? I can't see myself in the monitor. Just move slightly. Oh, that's all right, like that. Yeah. Now, over to Kooki for a preview of Miss Asia UK 1995.
Number 1, Shefali, aged 20, from Wembley.
Yeah!
Number 2, Leeson, aged 19, from North Wales. Number 3, Manjula, aged 21, from Northampton. Number 4, Alka, aged from Wimbledon Hill. Number 5, Shebra, aged 19, from Heston, Middlesex. And number 6, Sunita, aged 19, from Heston, Middlesex.
Ha! Give us another yell, quickly. Kazaa! Don't know what it means, but I enjoy it. Right, Pinky Mathura. Matharu. Oh, right, OK, fine. Is the coordinator of... This is the first one or not?
This is the first one, yeah.
Now, this, I mean, OK, this is quite a departure in culture for Asian girls, isn't it?
It is, but it's been required for a very long time. So I think it's about time that Asian girls came forward.
Now, a lot of people would say beauty... I mean, Asian culture, which is, in many cases, doesn't sort of fit in too well with the sort of Western culture. Is this trying to westernise some of the girls, or westernise maybe their parents to be more acceptable?
Well, I think the girls are westernised. We can't really say the girls aren't westernised because an Asian model is an equivalent to any other model, mainstream model, any other model that you can name. I think people have had this picture of Asian models that they won't do this and they won't do that, but times have changed.
I mean, these girls are just some of the ones who'll be in Miss Asia UK. I mean, how is that contest different from other beauty contests?
Well, there aren't that many Asian contests really held which are aiming at the mainstream market. And that's basically why we're holding Miss Asia, because we're trying to promote Asian talent on the mainstream market and approach Asian companies and organisations and ask them why aren't they using Asian models when there's so much talent out there.
I mean, we can see. But they're not, I believe, going to model swimwear in this.
No, we're not having swimwear. The girls, the clothes that the girls will be modelling in are very exotic. They're very revealing. They're very stylish. They're very fashionable. So we haven't really felt there's a need to have swimwear.
Now, you said they're very revealing, and you wanted to play that slightly down, because there still is this problem, isn't there, with some of their parents, if they see them maybe on television tonight, some of their parents maybe not even know that they've entered.
Well, no, all the girls that are taking part in the Miss Asia pageant have full backing from their parents. We have spoken to parents who have actually phoned up on their daughters' behalves to actually enter them in the contest. So I think times have changed, and parents' views have changed a lot as well.
How is the rest of the community reacting to this? Are they all going to come along and support? Is it going to be on Asian TV and radio? Or?
Yes, we've had very good backing from the media, actually, from mainstream media as well as Asian media as well. The event will be televised at the end of the day. We do have a lot of big organisations, English organisations coming on the night, and hopefully we'll open some doors for these girls. Now,
whilst a lot of people are trying to do as much as they can for women's rights and women's issues and further the course of womankind, some may say that you're actually not helping the Asian girls at all here, that you're actually putting them back to the sort of the old thing of girls just being a sex object.
I wouldn't say that we look at our girls as sex objects. We're basically promoting our girls and showing people that our girls can do anything that any other model can do.
Let's talk to some of the girls and start. Who's on this end? Let's just. I won't walk up there and get in front of you. Who is the first one? What do your parents think of this?
My parents, I have full backing from my parents. In fact, they encourage me.
If a newspaper, a daily newspaper, came along and said, "Will you do a topless shot?" What would you say?
I personally wouldn't do a topless shot. I don't see. I mean, everyone has their own right to do it, but I personally wouldn't.
Do you think that you're moving swiftly on to that lovely Dayglow... no, not orange green, isn't it? Dayglow green dress. Do you have the same backing from your parents?
Full, absolutely full backing up.
Yeah?
They drive me anywhere wherever the show is because we live in North Wales.
And have they...
It's the way out.
It is?
Yeah, so...
No all-night garages in North Wales for anybody who's there late at night, as I was, and run out of petrol. Have you actually worn anything or been in a photograph where your parents said, no, not...
Never.
Any of you? No? Now, you're wearing a delightful sari. Will you be wearing that on the night, or will you be wearing something more revealing? Or?
I don't know. I don't know yet what I'll be wearing on the night, so I can't say.
OK. Now, listen, I won't go through all of you girls, but do some of you feel you don't get a fair crack of the whip as far as modelling is concerned? Yeah?
Sure.
Do you think that this might actually help you get more work?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
OK, give them a nice round of applause. This is on... This is on November the 4th. November the 4th. Just before we carry on, I got a letter here from this guy. He looks a bit dubious, and girls, you don't have to worry about this. This guy here sent it. He's over there next to Captain. His name is Spider. OK, how are you, Spider? Just watch. He writes to me, he says, I'm very attractive to Asian and Oriental girls. What? Aren't you? You
attracted
are?
to.
Yeah, attracted.
Yes.
To. What did I say?
Attractive.
Oh, well, you know what? He isn't attractive, obviously, but he's attracted to, and he can't get himself an Asian girl. He says a lot of Asian girls don't like white guys. They think of them just as, you know, not... Is that right? Is there...
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
No?
I know so many Asian girls who are going out with white guys.
Really? Good.
Yep.
More integration, the better, I feel.
Yep, that's right.
Have a chat to him. He's not the best-looking one, and I don't want to do that, you know. James, could he have a ticket for the show?
Can I possibly ask a question?
One quick one. I've got very little time.
Right. Why are you a sadist and leaving me upstairs with all these ravishing creatures?
Because
for the past 2 hours?
I just thought it was good therapy to try and get this out of your system, OK? Yeah. Right. Thank you very much indeed. Give the girls another nice round of applause. Thank you. Right. Baz.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, Baz.
Hi.
Oh, are we doing this now?
Yeah.
Are you coming up here?
Can I come up there?
OK, we've got a clip from a film.
Oh,
What
my
film are we
God.
going to
Casper
see
the Friendly Ghost,
Have we got a clip
James?
from Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it. Let's roll VT.
Fellas, good morning.
Casper! Okay.
I feel like Oprah on hiatus.
You look like Oprah on hiatus. You know what the problem is? Casper's got no respect for us.
After all we've done for the little glowworm.
Yeah. Hey! What the hell do you think you're doing, Bulbhead? This floor used to be dirty enough to eat off of.
But we have company.
Oh, yeah? Well, company loves misery. Boom!
You guys are disgusting, obnoxious creeps.
Thank you.
Well, that seems to me to be... It's one of those sort of effects. It's a bit namby-pamby. What's it like?
Well, it's OK.
Yeah?
You know, I mean, it's OK after a drink. A triple. No. No, it's fine. This is Casper the Friendly Ghost, based on the comic strip I used to see when I was a kid. And then it went, you know, went west, and then it's big again now. My son liked that film. He's 7. He liked it. I liked it because he liked it. You just might like it.
I might like it.
It's not as daft as it looks. It stars Christina Ricci, who's the young girl Wednesday in the Addams Family movies.
Oh, really?
The father, Bill Pullman, he was the guy who gets jilted in Sleepless in Seattle. Anyway.
Will the kids like it in the holidays?
Yeah, the kids are like it. It's
Yeah.
a kind of a sweet movie. Eric Idle's the bad guy with Kathy Moriarty. The father, Bill Pullman, he's a guy who's a psychic shrink. And he helps ghosts move on, as it were, when they're having a hard time. Bad ghosts, nice ghosts, pleasant movie.
I have to ask you, because, you know, you're sick of it, I know. Hugh Grant, being quiet. Elizabeth Hurley. Is this announcement of a marriage imminent, or is it just a load of media hogwash?
I think Hugh Grant, because of that act, has become a prominent member of the acting profession. I'm not going to discuss his private life, because next week I'm going to talk about his latest movie.
Are you?
And I want to say all my best lines for next week, as it were.
Okay.
So we can come to that.
All right,
next
Baz, I've
week.
had enough of that. I mean, really, that is so disgusting. You got
just said
you like
we come to that.
Yes,
Well,
yes, I know.
What else could a boy say?
You liked that last bit, didn't you?
I like the Asian models. I thought they were really cool.
I know, I could see that, and the drummers you like, because we're going to do a
I
bit
thought
of
they
that.
were very interesting. I like the drums. It's all very sexual, isn't it? It's all very interesting.
Can we have a little bit to play us out? Maybe can we get Captain back in somewhere? He was somewhere. We'll see you next week. Got a great show next week. Let's turn where's Captain's gone? Captain, do you want to? Can you plug in over there?
Oh yeah.
I thought this is okay. Just a little impromptu jam session before we leave you. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh!